It's all coming to pass. From Elon Musk fulfilling the scriptures of Revelation 13 and 16 with the brain uh, chip. And we know that the RFID implant for the right or left hand is already available. So all of this is coming to pass. Digital IDs are going to soon be mandatory. All right. They are in the in order to get unemployment, you got to get a facial recognition scan now. And soon it's going to be at most operational government facilities. Okay. So Habakkuk 2 and verses 1. We'll go to Habakkuk 2 and verses 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
Flippy the chef makes Spud spectacular. This automated grill gives the meat its sizzle, as this restaurant goes robotic.
For this burger, it would take about 120 seconds.
Cali Express by Flippy is the world's first AI-powered eatery. There's new technology outside the kitchen, too. A cheeseburger. Order kiosks use facial recognition to remember you, your favorite food, and how you like to pay. Then
Facial recognition coming soon.
watch the robots work, no humans required.
We can't get enough people to come out to work on fryers and grills. They're dangerous jobs. And this automation helps solve a lot of those issues.
Alana, have someone? 62% of restaurants report being understaffed. Industry experts say most of those unfilled jobs could be done by robots. And in California, where the minimum wage for most fast food workers will soon be $20 an hour, fewer workers equals cost savings. Dan Ives is with Wedbush Securities, a wealth management firm.
Once the minimum wage went to 20, that's the bell going off. More and more focus on spending on AI. Because look, that's inflationary. That's the problem. You can't necessarily pass all that to the consumer.
Flippy can cook 250 pounds of French fries an hour. The burger bot, 100 patties.
These restaurants are very, very busy at peak times, and every second that gets added to somebody waiting in the drive-thru is a lost revenue opportunity for that restaurant.
Is it costing people their jobs?
That's not what we've seen. It's really here to help people.
Humans at Cali Express will put the finishing touches on orders. For customers, the price of the meals are competitive. As for taste, is it going to affect the quality and the taste?
I would say yes, in a good way, because now each burger is being cooked precisely the same way every time.
Time will tell whether AI takes over kitchens everywhere. That will be up to the public to chew on.
Good morning. Well, we have traveled the world today to look at 2050, and we were just in Norway. Let's turn now next door to Sweden. I think this goes, Matt, into the category of when things go a little bit weird. Today in Sweden, 4,000 people got up and got out of bed to go to work with a chip implanted in their hand. It's about the size of a grain of rice. It fits right here between the thumb and the forefinger. And for those people, they replaced their house keys. They didn't need keys today. The chip replaced their Metro card and their train ticket, and it replaced their employee badge when they got to work. In fact, I was surprised to learn the other day that the entire railway system of Sweden is outfitted to handle these human microchips. It's kind of astonishing. So if we're going to think about the world in 2050, there's a guy in Sweden we need to meet. His name is Johan Esterlund, and he's the CEO and founder of a company called Biohacks. He manufactures and implants all of those biochips and his fellow Swedes, and he's been working with companies and governments all around the world. We have him coming to us live today from Sweden. There we go. Good morning, Johan. Can you hear us?
Hi, Carolyn.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us. He's sitting in his home right outside Stockholm this morning. Give me a second just to introduce you a little bit more. Johan is a trade association head, like many of you. He is the president of the Swedish Association of Professional Piercers, as in tattoos and body piercing. And it turns out that was great background for what he does now in his company. He married up his tech background and his piercing background to really become the leader in the Nordic countries on microchipping. So hello and thank you. I've got a couple of questions for the audience that will get us level set. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you in this room have a wearable, like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit? Wow, okay, gosh, that's like half the room. Okay. How many of you know someone with a pacemaker or an implantable defibrillator? And we're comfortable with that. Okay, that's also about half the room. All right, the third and last question. If you have a pet, is your pet microchipped? Dog and cat people? All right, again, that seems like half the room. Well, listen, with that in mind, let's think about those technologies and when they were first introduced, how long did it take us to get comfortable? And as Matt talked about and others, are we going to go to a world where augmentation and information on your personal body might be required for work or might be required for travel? We've got someone here to talk to us about it today. We found him through a lot of media coverage. He's been covered in Time Magazine. He's been on CNN. He's talked to folks at Davos, and he's agreed to come today. He couldn't be here live. But let's go. Johan, tell us, what's the 101? What are the basics on how these chips are inserted? How much does it hurt? Can you get them out? How much do they cost? Give us the 101.
Well, it's based on NFC technology, the exact same technology you'd see in cashless vending machines and passports. And it's about the size of a grain of rice. About $150 to $200. I think we try and follow the Big Mac index. And it's not harder than getting your ear pierced. And it's easy to remove if you get sick of it.
Wow. Okay, so it's the equivalent of read-only documents is what you told me on the phone the other day. But if 4,000 people in Sweden have done this, is there something cultural? What is it about the Swedish society that has made that country so accepting of these biochips?
Well, I'd say one, we spend 9 months out of the year indoors inventing stuff. We're a perfect breeding ground for technology. I mean, we did create Skype, the music streaming platform, Spotify, Sony Ericsson, one of the first and biggest mobile phone operators. And I just guess we have kind of a high trust in our government, and we're not afraid of it being taken advantage of.
Interesting. I think we have a different situation here with all of our concerns about data privacy. We'll talk about that in a second. But here's a question that probably many people in this room are asking, which is, aren't wearables enough, or even fingerprints? Why do we need to go to having something foreign like that implanted in our bodies?
Well, you'll never get up to immutable ID with a wearable. And I guess if you take it into account, the value you want to push, like we just bought 5% from Icon Gold Reserve. They're a company that made a cryptocurrency based in gold. So you can literally move metric tons of gold in sub-seconds and immutably identify the ones doing it. So just the financial sector part where you reduce transaction times and interaction times with up to 90%, should be well enough to get it. And that you can get rid of your car keys, house keys, and all of the plastic cards you carry.
Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive an MARK in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the MARK, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Revelation 14 and verses 9. And the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, let me highlight that. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his hand, or in his forehead, or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Revelation 16 in verses 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. And he first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the MARK of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. Okay, so if you take this, you're going to get possibly cancer. Okay, if you take this. This is what Apostle John saw. So, okay, we have digital technology expanding. We have AI creating restaurants. So all the looting and stealing is going to come to an end, because you're not going to be able to enter the facilities without having a digital ID. Okay, and soon after that, the MOTB. Okay, all right, that mark. Okay, without it, you're not going to be able to enter into a restaurant, your Burger King or anything like that, because they have the technology now. Okay, all right, and the RFID implant is going mainstream. This was the Department of, I think, Commerce. Okay, they were having a meeting. Okay, the Department of Commerce, the United States. All right, so it's going mainstream. This is the MOTB. With that, I say shalom.